examine a character whose life was a lightning rod for the conflict between societal expectation and individual truth, Neil Terry. We often see Neil's story as a simple tragedy of a strict father, but when we actually look closer through the lens of transcendentalist poetry and Erik Erikson's stages of development, we see a rather complex psychological battle. For me, Neil wasn't actually just rebelling. He was attempting a rather radical self-reliance in an environment designed to crush it. To better understand Neil, we first have to understand the poetic tradition Transcendentalism. Emerging in the mid-19th century, this movement, led by figures like Ralph Waldo Emerson and Walt Whitman, it suggested that the self is the ultimate authority. Considering Emerson's famous line from Self-Reliance, "Whoso would be a man must be a nonconformist. Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind." In the film, Mr. Keating acts as the Vygotskian, more knowledgeable other, also known as MKO. He provides the scaffolding Neil needs to move into his zone of proximal development, allowing Neil to transcend the rigid neoclassical structure of Welton and find his own voice through art. Psychologically speaking, Neil is at the peak of Erikson's fifth stage, identity versus role confusion. At this age, adolescents must integrate who they are with who they are expected to be. Neil's tragedy is that his environment offers no room for integration. To his father, Neil's identity is a fixed role, which is a doctor. However, to Neil, his identity is a fluid, transcendentalist pursuit, which is an actor. When Neil tells Keating the line, "I've never told anyone this before, but I think I could be an actor," we are seeing a breakthrough in his identity formation. However, because his father denies this identity, Neil falls into the role confusion, leading to a state of identity foreclosure where he feels only his options are either total submission or total escape. The climax of Neil's arc is his performance as Puck in the show A Midsummer Night's Dream. Here, he embodies the transcendentalist ideal. He is, as Whitman wrote, I am large, I contain multitudes. For those few hours on stage, Neil resolves his psychological dissonance. But the moment the play ends and he sees his father in the shadows, the psychological scaffolding provided by Keating collapses. Neil realizes that the integrity of his own mind cannot coexist with the physical reality of his life. His ultimate fate isn't just an act of despair. It's a dark literal interpretation of transcendentalism, escaping the physical confinement of wealth and to remain, in his mind, eternally the artist he discovered himself to be. Neil Perry's journey shows that the poetry isn't just words on a page, it's a psychological catalyst. By applying transcendentalist values to a mind in the midst of an identity crisis, we see the beauty of the human spirit, but also the danger of a world that refuses to let that spirit breathe. Carpe diem isn't just about seizing the day, it's about the psychological freedom to own your own identity. Thanks for watching.